Hey, gun people! Well, they're letting a few interviews. More information is coming out. As usual, we're going to get more information on this shooting and the coward cops. And look, people, you can say I hate cops and the cops slept with my wife, and you try to rationalize away why I believe. My bio's posted, was in law enforcement over 30 years, been carrying a gun since I was 14. I've got a little experience. That's all I'm sharing. You can disagree. That's okay. So these kids are talking out now, and I want everybody to remember, every story you read and hear, these kids were in that room alone. Their teachers were killed. Their friends were killed. And the cops waited outside. I don't want to hear any of this bullshit about they were following orders. And Rick, they were told, you know what? If they would have continued to attack and attack and attack and attack, there would have been no time to get orders. There would have been no way for somebody to go, hey, we need, you know what? We got cops chasing people for freaking 20 miles, killing people because they were speeding, and they'll chase and kill people on the road. Nobody follows orders there. Nobody gets on the radio and go, hey, stop that. We're endangering people. No. But somehow when kids are getting slaughtered, there's time for cops to arrest parents, for cops to tase parents, pepper spray parents, handcuff women. There's time for that while a shooter, an active shooter, is still in there. I'm going to play a little bit of Judge Grady, what's that sheriff? I don't know his name. Anyway, the sheriff dude. I'm going to play him. He pretty much mirrors what I said, and he says it's state policy, which is good. I think it's state policy everywhere. The DPS, Department of Public Safety, State Police, Texas Rangers, they go by their little names. They're sitting here trying to defend this shit. They got no defense. When you see that father being held down outside because he wants to go save his kid, those are 3 DPS cowards holding him down while 18 other armed cops are in a hallway not going in to save the kids. So government is going to come in now. Biden, we're going to tear down the school. The government has all these false flags. We need to get rid of They've got all these answers now. Meanwhile, they had all these answers from the last one, and they didn't follow it because there's no accountability, because cops have no duty to act per the Supreme Court, because we're hiring cops that are cowards, because we don't have real men being cops, because real men is the enemy in this freaking country, and unless you run around with a rainbow flag shoved up your ass, you're somehow not relevant. So this is what you get. I just read today, the police chief of the local department, he's the one that supposedly ordered the stand down. He's also a Beto supporter. I don't know if that's true. If somebody can give me a source on that, I'll post it or pin it in the comments. But that's typical to me. You get a police chief who believes in Beto, Beto has freaking memories of running over kids and hurting kids, and somehow you have people that support him as your police chief. Then when he orders 19 cops to wait outside while your kids are getting killed, you're crying and you're jumping on a wagon. Yeah, we need more gun control. We need more false flag. We need more government. That's what we need, because government fails at everything they do. And you idiots are going to buy in that government's going to come in with a solution. You know what their solution is going to be? Attack the Constitution, because the Constitution is the only thing that gives we the people the ability to hold government accountable. Government hates accountability. Government's never held accountable. They exempt themselves from laws. They make it to where we can't sue them. They get immunity, limited immunity, criminal immunity. They get all this freaking protection, and they're never held accountable. And somehow, you idiots who are supporting this gun control and red flag laws and all this other bullshit about no gun zones and put up more signs, and if we only had more signs that you can't kill kids, and come on, people, it's stupid. Let me get to this.
He shot our next person's door, and then we have a door in the middle, and he opened it, and then he came in and he crouched a little bit, and he said it's time to die. When he shot, it was very loud and it hurt my ear. When I saw the bullets on the floor, it was real. And when I heard the shooting through the door, I told my friend to hide under something so he won't find us. I was hiding hard, and I was telling my friend to not talk because he's going to hear us.
We have kids making better decisions than trained cops with guns in the hallway. Outrageous.
The cop said, "Help if you need help," and then one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard, and he came in and shot her.
This is every kid should know this. This is a ploy. Criminals, crooks, freaking cowards that go in to shoot unarmed kids, they will do it dirty, and they will say, "I'm the police, I'm here to help, who needs help?" And they'll trick and take advantage of the innocent of a child, thinking that the police will help them. They'll raise their hand, and the coward will shoot them. Meanwhile, you got other cowards with guns that are cops out in the hallway.
And then the cops barged into that classroom, and the guy shot the cops, and the cops just started shooting at.
Okay, so this kid gives me more information than all the freaking press conferences out there. At least I know now, and this is the first I've heard of it, that the suspect actually engaged the cops when they came in. Now, why didn't he kill the kids that were in there? He had ammo, and he had a freaking hour because the cops gave him an hour. Why didn't he kill them? Because they were playing dead, they were covering themselves in blood, and they were hiding because the strong blue line hero cops were in the freaking hallway. And their excuse, we were following orders. We were told to stand down. Really? I mean, there's just no way you're going to convince me. You know what you cops ought to do? Because I believe there were a few cops out of the 18, and maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly believe there was a few cops out of the 18 that wanted to go in. I don't know how many, but there was a few. But none of those pussies even have the balls now to give an interview and say, "You know what? I was in that line. I wanted to go in. We had a chief that was telling us no, and we couldn't. And I wish I would have disobeyed that order. I failed because I stood in the hallway and followed that order, and kids were dying. I failed, and I'm sorry." Why don't we have cops on that? You know what? Because they're fucking cowards. I'm sorry, I'm not going to use the F word. They're cowards. They're pussies. They're out there with their guns and vests, and they let these kids go through pure hell and die. Even the survivors went through hell while they sat outside and followed orders. Officer safety. Our safety's first over kids getting killed. Outrageous.
Just opened the curtain, and then I just put my hand out, and then I got out with my friends because I knew it was the police when I saw the armor and the shield.
Even the kid's a little brainwashed. I saw the armor and the shield and the police, and he thinks that's good. I'm not cracking on this kid or saying he's wrong. I'm just saying we have programmed our kids that the police are heroes and they're going to save us and we should trust them. And that's not the case. Okay, I'm sorry. It is not the freaking case. It used to be the case 20, 30 years ago. It is not the case now. We have the most coward, pussy, tax collecting, harassing good people cops. Cops used to harass bad guys and criminals. Now they target working, tax-paying citizens, parents trying to get in with their kids. They got plenty of muster and balls to tackle a woman in handcuffs. That brave federal marshal was able to handcuff a little woman and handcuff her and tell her she was obstructing while 18 cops were in the hallway letting kids get killed. Oh, cops were right there on that one. 3 DPS workers holding down a dad that wanted to go in. Man, those cops were strong and brave there, weren't they? I mean, it's still a huge cover-up that, oh, you know what? We had policies. We're going to investigate. We're going to do this investigation. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Come on, people. They investigate every time they fail, and they always say we're going to make it better, and they always say if we only had more laws and more money and more cops and more government and more taxes, and if we only got the guns, it would fix everything. And it hasn't happened yet. When are people going to wake up? That is not the answer. That is making the problem worse.
They were nice teachers, and they went in front of my classmates to help to save them.
So the little kid said at least the parents did or the teachers did what they were supposed to. Good for the teachers. I mean, look, they're dead. But you know what? The government employee teachers left the door open. They propped the door open. They didn't secure the classroom. And a lot of people are telling me, well, Rick, if there's glass in a window and he shoots through, he can just reach through and open locks. I'm not a freaking rocket scientist and I don't work for NASA, but just maybe we shouldn't have fucking windows where you can reach through and grab a freaking locked door. I mean, again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but isn't that freaking pretty simple fix? No, Rick, you don't understand. The doors have windows and they could have, they're still making excuses. It's government failure. You're telling me there's not one person that went, locking doors is kind of stupid if you have a window on it. I've been teaching that for people at homes for years. If you've got glass on a door at your home, you should have a double key lock. So if they break the window, they can't reach in and unlock it. They need a key on both sides. That's why they make keys or locks with keys on both sides. So you can't reach through and unlock it. And you got two choices on freaking doors in classrooms. Either no windows or freaking key locks on the inside. And then you're going to have government losing the key. We couldn't lock the door because we couldn't find the key. There's always going to be that human government failure. And no matter what amount of shit that government comes in and tells you, we're going to make it better if we take guns from good people, if we make more restrictions, if we have a waiting list, if we have this, if we have better enhanced backgrounds. This guy went through a background. He passed all the government checks and he slipped through the system. It happens. That's why the best protection for you and your child is you are preparing your child. Don't ever give the ability to defend yourself or your children to the government. You will lose every time. Look at history. Here's another kid that's speaking out.
Asked him, he said, "You're all gonna die," and he just started shooting.
Look, you can't say enough about a coward that goes in and shoots unarmed children. There's just nothing you can say. But for him to go in and torture and scare them at the first, telling them they're going to die. I'm not saying it would have been better if he'd have shot him and didn't say that, but it just gives you the mindset on what kind of people are active shooters, which is why you never, ever wait. No ifs, ands, buts, or coconuts. Active shooters are cowards and they will kill and continue to kill until you kill them. I'm hearing all these words about neutralize and defeat the threat. No, fuck that. I want a bullet in his head. I'll go with graveyard dead. Okay, the sheriff says that in his little briefing. That guy would have been graveyard dead in Florida, and he should have been. You attack a freaking coward shooter until he's dead. Period. No ifs, ands, buts, or coconuts. Period. It's not that freaking hard. Not only did these cops not attack, they retreated. They had time to get orders, discuss, talk, set up a perimeter, handcuff, tase, pepper spray. Parents who wanted to go in, they had all this time. 18 cops in a hallway, over an hour. And now we're going to say, wasn't my fault. It was a federal. It was a local's fault. No, it was DPS. They were in charge of this. No. It was a SWAT. No, the Border Patrol came in and we had to wait for them. No, the chief ordered. There'll be all these excuses. Every guy with a gun that was there and didn't go in is a fucking coward. I don't know how else to say it. You had an unarmed mom that was handcuffed, and they took her out of handcuffs, and she went in, climbed the fence, went around a perimeter, and went and got her kids. She didn't have a gun. She didn't have a vest. She didn't have shit. And she did more than all the pussy cops that were there, including the pussy DPS that were holding a father down and wouldn't let him go save his kid. Meanwhile, they were too freaking pussy to go in and save the kids. Outrageous! Rick, you just hate cops and you need to be more, and you weren't there and you don't know. Shut up with all that crazy
This
shit.
morning, a chilling account for the first time of what went on inside.
I was playing dead, so he won't shoot me.
10-year-old Samuel Sanin.
Playing dead. The kids know, man. Some people be like, man, the kids shouldn't have to know that, and they'll play the heartstrings and how we got to get rid of guns. Kids have been in wars and 10-year-olds have been shooting guns. Go to Africa. They freaking kidnap kids when they're 10 or 11 so they can train them to be their army. They have 14-year-old kid armies. There's nothing that, kids are pretty resilient and they should know survival. And it's not a bad thing to teach a kid there are evil people that will do evil things and you should always be prepared. There's nothing wrong with that. They will make it up. Oh, our kids should be able to live and eat ice cream until they're 21 and live with their dad, and government will take care of them and everything will be great. And that's how all kids should be raised. That's why we're in this fucking mess right now. That's why our country is so screwed up, and we're hiring people who you know, don't know what bathroom to use, and they're the cops. And then we promote those people to be chiefs, and then they go give orders. Oh, I don't want to make a decision. I'll just have them stand down and I'll let somebody else make the decision. And that way I can't get blamed. That freaking chief needs to be hung from the highest flagpole, tarred and feathered in town square, ran out of town. Freaking his ass needs to be held accountable. And you know what? If you people don't hold him accountable, shame on you, and stop your crying about dead kids. You get what you get. Rick, you can't blame the parents. It's not their fault. It is every parent's fault. You know what? Come tomorrow, today's Memorial Day. Remember our brothers who died for this freaking country? Even though they may not have agreed with the war, they went out there and fought and died. Unlike the coward pussy cops down in Texas that waited in a hallway because they were following orders and they let kids die. Unlike them, okay? This is Memorial Day. So thanks to all my brothers out there who did that, who fought for the greatest country in the world. But anyway, I can't even say that anymore. There'll be people saying we aren't a great country because we allow people to have guns. Yeah, that's why we're not a great country. You know why great countries fall? Because they abandon the principles that made them great. Our Constitution and our rights is what made this country great. It gave us freedoms. That's why we're a great country. You know why we're failing and why we're gonna fail? Because we're abandoning the principles that made us freaking great. And we're told it's better, it's new, it's more progressive, it's more accepting, we're more tolerant. Give me a freaking break.
One of the few survivors from his class, now recovering after an injury to his leg.
He shot my teacher and then he shot the kids. I think he was aiming at me, like the thing, and then he, I guess one of the chairs were there, so it blocked it, and pieces in my leg.
Most of his friends and classmates not making it out alive.
I kind of don't feel safe going to school, and
you shouldn't feel safe. No kid should feel safe going to school. Parents shouldn't feel safe taking your kids. We let school board. I just heard an article today. They're teaching preschool kids. They're just learning their colors. They're not even really old enough to form sentences or letters. They're teaching them colors. Green, blue, red, yellow. And you know how they're teaching them? They got LGBT freaking cards with a pregnant man telling them what color something is. This is the school that we're embracing and we think are going to protect our children. Are you freaking kidding me? You people are going to come here and attack me because I'm being mean to parents and I'm calling parents bad. If you're sending your kid into these meat lockers to be slaughtered while cops sit outside, and now you're saying, oh yeah, if we only had more gun law, if we took more guns away from good people, if we had more laws, that would fix it. If we just gave government more power, that would have saved my kid. Well, you're a fucking idiot. And you know what? You get what you get.
I feel hot, and sometimes at night I have nightmares too.
Also inside that classroom, 10-year-old Tess Mata.
Now I'm going to get shit. I called him Judge Grady and it's Sheriff Grady Judge. Whatever. I don't know the guy's name. I know I like him. I know he speaks the truth. I know he's not worried about being politically correct. He's not worried about offending anybody. He says what he believes. I may not even agree with everything he says all the time. But you know what? He's a man. He says what he believes. He is what he is. Take him or leave him. I can respect that about him. He gives a good talk here about what went down here and what his policy is in Florida.
Yes. And quite frankly, I hope you can prove me wrong. But
Okay, so I have this sped up, maybe 175. I'll move it down to 125. So he talks a little slow. Here we go.
Overwhelming majority of the school districts in this country, the overwhelming majority of law enforcement agencies in this country are not equipped and trained to deal with an active assailant.
Okay, I disagree with him there. Okay, cops get plenty of training. There's free videos. If training is such an issue, why don't we have the government make training videos available to the public and the police? Why isn't there a channel for the government that says this is what the police are trained? Here's a video that they watch and you can watch. Here's what they're told and you know what they're told. Here's what policy is and you know what the police are being told. How hard is that? We're in the information age. It's so easy to do something. Why isn't there a YouTube channel that has free training for law enforcement? You know what? Easy fix. You put all the training videos there. Cops are always training videos. When I was working a cop, every briefing, once a week, we'd have to watch a video in order to update our training and keep our certification, because we require so much ongoing training throughout the year. So they would play it at the beginning. We'd have to sign a little log that we watched it, and it would go in our training file. With videos now, there's all kind of videos. Why don't we just make that public? Why is training? Rick, if we make it public, then the bad guys will know. It doesn't matter if they know. They're freaking going in killing kids any damn way. But you think them knowing what the policy, maybe if they knew the cops were going to go in and shoot them, they wouldn't go to schools. Maybe that would help. No, Rick, government needs to be secret and you pesky citizens can't know because we're smart and you guys can't handle it. Whatever.
An active shooter to the level that they need to be. And you can always...
More money and more training and more equipment is not the issue, because it always comes down to all this training and money, and well-trained officers are never there when it goes down. Very rarely are cops there to stop bad people. They have to wait for the 911 calls. They have to wait for the dispatcher to interpret it. They have to wait for the dispatcher to find officers to send, and then we have to wait for the officers to respond. Most of the times, shit's already happened. So all this training and equipment, that's not it. You give people the knowledge and ability to defend themselves so they can stop the threat while they're waiting for government. You idiots out there are voting for more government, thinking that if we have more government, they'll come quicker. Defend your damn self. Be self-responsible. Freaking idiots.
Improve. So I wasn't surprised that the doors were unlocked.
I was kind of surprised. I think that's pretty stupid, simple. I mean, out of all the policies that they have, locking doors seems like that's probably one of the most simple policies out there. And guess what? Government, your government schools, your government teachers, your government trained teachers, the teachers that were trained on active shooting, all teachers have it. Somehow they prop the door open. Shocking. Government failed. And we need more gun control legislation, and we need better backgrounds, and we need to get the guns away. We need high capacity mags. It's the gun's fault. It's not government. No. It's the gun. Please.
I wasn't surprised. I was saddened about the response. Let me tell you clearly and unequivocally. The training in Florida, and I'll speak specifically here, and I'm thankful for the Florida legislature, to a school in this county, armed. We're going to do our best through either our guardians, our school resource officers, or our school resource deputy sheriffs.
It sounds like they have what's called guardians. I don't know if those are like civil people in Florida. They've got SROs and they got the sheriff. I mean, it sounds like they've got some pretty hard things. Guess what, people? I hate to break it to you. I know you're going to be like, Rick, you don't know. Even all those things, if I want to go in and shoot up a school, I can. I can stop a cop on a traffic stop, a female officer, punch her in the face, she'll cry, I will handcuff her, I could take her gun, and I could walk into any school and start shooting people. No background check, no gun control, no nothing. We're giving guns to people that can't even keep their own gun. We're hiring 100-pound female officers because it's PC and it's great, and I could take any one of their guns. I'm venturing to say right now, there is not one female officer in the entire United States that my old ass can't take their gun from them. Okay? Somebody, go ahead. Somebody will come here and show me some freaking 200-pound, muscle-bound female that's really strong. You know what? I still think I can take her gun. Okay? I'm just telling you. So we're giving guns and cars, and the guns are in the cars, and these little women that are 100 pounds are carrying a gun that's bigger than them, and you're telling me if a bad guy doesn't want a gun and can't get a gun, he can't take it from a cop? Of course he can. So no matter what the policies government tells you how safe it is, you have to educate how to survive.
To eliminate the threat outside of the school before they ever get to the children. We're trained to do that.
You may be trained to do that, but you have to be there. Maybe the SRO that wasn't there was trained to do that. Perfect. Again, all this training and knowledge, it all sounds great. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of taxpayer money. It's a lot of budgeting. Okay? It's a lot of time that cops aren't out on the streets doing police shit and they're getting training. And people are calling for more training. I'm like, you're an idiot. But whatever. I can still get to school and I can still get a gun. And no matter how many government protections you get, I can still get it. Guaranteed. You're not going to stop evil people that want to do evil things from doing it. I can run over a cop with a car and take their gun. I can wait for the school to get out and steal a freaking bus or an 18-wheel tractor, whatever. I can go through there and bulldoze all the freaking kids in the crosswalk. I can run through and freaking throw gasoline when the kids are getting picked up from school and light the whole area on fire. Throw a propane. There's plenty of ways if people want to be evil. Suicide. We have people wearing suicide vests. You aren't going to pass a law that stops a dude that wants to wear a vest and blow himself up and walk in a place. You're not going to do it. So all the laws and all the government solutions is never the answer, and it's never going to work.
Now, if you have trouble understanding that, let me give it to you in Polk County vernacular. This is the last thing you'll see before we put a bullet through your head.
Most sheriffs or chiefs are not going to talk about putting bullets through heads. That's why I like this guy. It is what it is. Okay? People are safe when criminals are nervous. People are safe when criminals feel like the end game is not worth it. I know I'm going to die. You're still going to have a few percentage that don't care if they're going to die. They're going to be on drugs and they may not care. Or they're just cowards and they go in there saying, I want to die, but I'm going to take some helpless children before I do it. You can't stop that with laws. But you can damn sure make criminals worried about it who are thinking.
If you're trying to hurt our children, we're going to shoot you graveyard dead if you come onto a campus with a gun, threatening our children or shooting at us. Now, quite frankly, here's the deal. We're going to charge directly to the threat. There's no mustering. There's no gathering up. We go.
Oh, shit. Here goes Tatum. Officer Tatum's going to be like, that sheriff don't know what he's talking about. He's stupid. You got to get a green zone and you got to get a perimeter. Man, Tatum's going to be all over this sheriff now. I'm just picking at him because I did a video on him and I disagreed with him.
Go individually to the threat and engage it. That's
Simple.
What we train for.
Simple.
Why do-
All agencies train for that. I don't think there's an agency out there that doesn't, except this city. You know what? I don't think they train that way. I think if you interview the cops, they're going to say, we wanted to go in, we knew we were supposed to go in, and we were told to stop. Well, I still call them a pussy for stopping. Because you know what? Even in the military, if I got some bullshit order, it'd be like, hey man, I didn't hear it, the radio was bad. Okay, there's ways to go around a bullshit order. You know what? I was in the heat of the battle. He was taking shots. You can't tell me not to defend myself when I'm taking shots. He's shooting at kids. I'm going in to protect him. You can't tell me not to protect a child. I'm a cop. Do you really think a cop is going to get in trouble for protecting a child? Are you freaking kidding me? All these pussy-ass cops that are crying now and defending these 18 cops that stood in the doorway while kids are getting killed. Man, we were just following orders. I wanted to go in. I had my gun and my vest and my shield, and I would have saved the children if I could, but I was told not to. Shut up. You're a freaking pussy. All of them. And everybody that denies that just loses credibility to me. I'm sorry.
Do we train like that? If they're shooting at us, they're not shooting at the children.
Bingo! That's exactly what I said. You take fire. You lay down suppressive fire. You move and shoot. One guy holds him down while you're moving. You hold him down while he moves. Basic, simple tactics. We're not talking about rocket science. You got to go through 6 months of training to learn this shit. Basic survival. These kids didn't get any training. They played dead. They covered themselves in blood. They didn't get any training. Guess what? Cops in a hallway, guns, bulletproof vests, and shields. We had orders. We had to wait for the SWAT team. Pussies. All of you.
Now, we don't want to be shot either. But given the choice of being shot and killed on the ground or those children dying, we'll die every time.
This sheriff, if somebody runs from a scene on this sheriff, I think he'd fire him. Be like, fuck that. I tell you about that woman that showed up. A cop was taking fire. He's in a fight at 211. She pulls up. As soon as the gun rounds hit, she puts her car in reverse and leaves. And the PD praised her for knowing her limitations. I was like, her ass ought to be fired. She got no damn business carrying a gun or being out there driving around a fucking police car making people think that they're safe because she's there. That's bullshit. I was like livid. And the PD was like, hey, she knew her limitations, and that's good. If she didn't think she could handle it, it's better that she left. Guess what? They're saying the same thing about the 18 cops. They knew their limitations. They had to plan. They had to wait for SWAT. They knew their limitations, Rick. They did a good job. They're cowards. Period.
When you turn your children over to us at the schools, they are our children all day long. And that's how we respond.
Okay, I believe he believes that. I'm not sure if every cop that works for him or every cop in a county and every cop in Florida believes that. And I don't even think he believes that. That may be his policy, and if I find out you don't believe that, I'm going to take action, and I can get that. But I don't believe, never, that all cops are great, all cops are good, all cops will do the right thing, all cops will always put their life to protect children. Anybody that believes that now has to be a really complete idiot. So I'll end it with, I did a little list of things that we kind of learned from this, and it won't be what we're told we're learning. I gotta get rid of this towel. It keeps moving my leg. I think I got a spider down here. So I have something hanging off the chair, and it keeps touching my leg. Anyway, why does he keep reaching? He's reaching for a gun. He's scared. He shouldn't have a gun. Shut up, you freaking crybabies. Here's some lessons that we learned from these government failures that I just made a quick list. And you guys can add to the list in the comments, and I'll add to this, and then I'll put a link to it to where if you want to share it or copy it. Okay? No gun zones don't work. Okay? No gun zones only affect people that want to follow laws. People that go in and want to kill helpless kids in school shootings are never people that are following the laws. They're breaking the laws usually when they bring a gun, when they have a gun, when they ammo, when they have evil intent, when they enter school with the intent to kill. It's burglary, they trespass. When they start shooting kids, no gun zones, all gun laws only affect good people who follow the law. And for any idiot to believe that somehow if we have more laws only affecting good people, we will stop all the bad people that don't follow the laws we have now. It just doesn't work, people. Background checks don't work. The government has missed so many background checks. It's bullshit. This guy went through a background check. He went and bought his guns 2 different days, 2 different times. They ran the background. It didn't work. So what do they say? Oh, we need enhanced backgrounds. That'll fix it. Yeah, right. More government cops, SROs, don't work. Because if the SROs, the school resource officers, are not there, and they're out at lunch, or there's not enough, or they're at training, or we can't keep them there, or the teachers are propping open doors, it doesn't work. Stop buying the bullshit. No gun signs don't work. Yeah, I guess that guy he read those signs and went, if there had been maybe another sign that no ammo, and then another sign, no pulling triggers, then maybe another sign with no guns with sights, and then maybe another sign, no murdering kids. Maybe if we just had a whole bunch of signs around a school, that'll keep the kids safe. It doesn't work. Lockdown rules and procedures don't work if no one is accountable for violating them. Nobody gets fired for propping open doors. There are schools around the country that are propping open doors and defeating the lockdown rules. They are letting people in. They're sticking a package in the door. Somebody said dispatch told a teacher to prop the door so the cops could get in. Okay, if we don't have a procedure for cops to get in a lockdown school, another government failure. But anyway, I don't know if that's true. Somebody just commented it. More police don't work because police are never there. I'm sorry. I know you cops like to think you're Johnny on the spot. I was a cop for many years. I was rarely at a scene when it went down. I may have got there fast. I may have been close. And I may have tried to get there. But there were plenty of times that it took me 30 or 40 minutes just to get there. Sacramento County is over 950 square miles. It would take easy, sometimes an hour, depending on traffic, even an hour and a half to get from one side of the county to the other. So if there was an incident, well, obviously Sacramento had a lot of cops everywhere, so hopefully there was closer cops and you would be that. But Solano County, there was 2 deputies on at night. 2 cars, 1 deputy in each car. And you know what? They followed each other so they would have backup. See, instead of having 1 car with 2 deputies, it looked bad to the public because we say we only have 1 car on the streets. So they had a policy, You guys got to follow separate cars so we can tell the stupid public we have 2 cars on the road at night, but you follow each other. So it's just like we have 1 car. We'll just have double the resources, waste money, and fool the public. It was a total scam. I'm like, dude, all you guys do is follow each other around. He goes, we have to, man. We don't know when we get back up. So officer safety, we follow each other around. So I said, basically, there's 1 patrol in the county. He goes, yeah, but, the sheriff don't want to say that. So he has us drive separate cars. Gee, shocking. Government lying to the people to get them to think that government's effective and will keep you safe. Man, never heard that shit before. More police don't work. More SWAT police training doesn't work. If you don't follow the training, if you don't get held accountable for violating the training, if you're not fired for not following the training, all these cops had training to go to the shooter. Guaranteed. They all went through active shooters, and they were all told you attack the threat. Guaranteed. And now they're going to go, well, the chief told us not to, and it wasn't our fault. Cowards. All right. More laws don't work. Lowering the standard and hiring cops, PC cops, don't work. It makes them more incompetent. Government telling us how to fix this does not work. Government is the failure in the first place over and over again. And yet people always think when government comes in, they're going to fix it now. Yeah, it's like socialism, communism. It works if only the right people were in charge to do it right. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Parents trusting school with your kids don't work. I just don't get over that one. Taking guns from good people don't work. Government blaming the gun does not work and never work. Trusting government to protect you or your kids does not work. They are never there when it goes down. If you ever think they will be there, or there ever gets a point to where there is always a government guy around you, then it would work. But that would be extreme tyranny. And when they're not protecting you, they have to do things like harass you because they're bored. Just like now, we have so many damn cops. They have to go out and harass people and write tickets and harass good people because they just can't keep busy, or they're scared, or they're cowards. More cops do not work, all right? The only way that works is when you're the governor and you have a security team assigned to you. When you're in Congress and you have a security team. When you're the president and you have Secret Service around you protecting you. That's when government works. So until you can get protection like the people who are telling you the rules, it ain't going to freaking work. All right? Officer safety is anti-public safety, okay? It's impossible to have both. You can't have public safety and officer safety. If you have officer safety, that means public safety is second. So right there, government's telling you, you are a much lower priority than government. That's a clue, people. I skipped one. 19 armed cops outside a door will protect your kids. Really? You believe that? If you told most people, hey, let me ask you a scenario. There's a guy shooting and killing kids, and there's 19 cops ready to go in. What do you think they do? Most people would say, oh, they rushed in and shot the guy. That's what most people would say. Wrong. They were under orders. They were told not to. They waited an hour. Man, those guys are heroes. Cowards. People who follow orders are cowards and keep their government jobs. Nobody's going to get fired over this. 19 kids are dead. Their life's over. They were 10, 11 years old. Done. Parents' lives, grandparents, schools, trauma. The kids that survived are traumatized. All this carnage. Not one government employee will be fired or held accountable. Nobody will lose their pension. Nobody will get sued in civil court. Nobody will have to pay out of their own pocket. You know what? They will all go to work, collect their money, keep their salary, get a raise when the next raise comes out. Nothing will affect them. You like apples? How do you like those apples? All right. The government fails at every level, then it comes to tell you how to fix it. That's just stupid. Cops can tase and pepper spray parents, keeping their kids in danger, and parents will drop their kids off at school the next day. Guaranteed. Every parent out there that's supposedly upset and can't believe this and is outraged, guess what? Come tomorrow, every one of those parents will be dropping their kids off at school. I just don't get it. No kid should be in school until this is fixed. Every parent should say, no more. You ain't telling me I can't carry a gun. You ain't telling me I can't go get my kid. You're never, until you pass a law that if cops don't go in when they're armed, they're going to be charged with a felony. And any cop that stops a parent from rescuing their kid is going to get charged with a felony with a mandatory 10-year sentence. You want to fix this fucking problem? You get that law. You keep your kids out of school till the government passes that law. No, Rick. If we just had more gun laws and we outlawed those big magazines and those mean AR guns, that'll fix it. You're a freaking idiot. I get so tired of idiot. All right. When you depend on government, you have to wait for government. When you wait on government, 19 kids are slaughtered. Government will tell you it's the gun's fault. Red flag laws don't work. They give government more power to trample on the Constitution. Red flag laws are a joke. If you have red flag laws for guns, then you should have red flag laws for liars, and red flag laws for people that beat women, and red flag laws for people that drink and drive, and red flag laws for people that speed. And everybody should be able to call the government and tell everybody, and they should automatically lose their freedoms because somebody made an accusation against them. That's what a red flag law is. It's bullshit. It's a way to get around the Constitution and freedoms and our protected rights. It's bullshit. All right, note. Every government-based solution does not work because it depends on government being competent, reliable, capable, and trustworthy. That's never the case. Even the dumbest smart person knows government protections always fail. Always. Government accountability is the only answer. No one in government ever gets fired. No one in government ever loses their personal money. No one employee can be sued because they have liability protection. They're given limited liability because they're in a government, and therefore they can't be sued. So we protect incompetence and failure, and then when we protect that, then the idiots, people, allow government to come in and tell us how to fix this. It's just totally ignorant. Government protects government. Government hates the Constitution because the Constitution gives we the people the ability to hold government accountable. And government hates being held accountable. Notice every government solution is being ignored, ignore the Constitution. Okay, every government solution is, why did I put being, or I don't know what the hell I was writing there. I should have put every government solution either ignores the Constitution or somehow gets around the Constitution. It's all about taking away rights. The Constitution gives us rights so we don't have a tyrannical government doing things they shouldn't be doing. Government hates that because it's called accountability. So what do? They tell you, we'll get rid of free speech because it's hate speech. And we'll get rid of your right to own a gun because they're dangerous guns and it's to keep you safe. And we'll get your right to protecting your properties on the Fourth Amendment in your cars because cars are mobile and you might destroy evidence. So we'll just peel a little off the Constitution there, and we'll trim a little fat here and a little fat there. And if we just trimmed a little fat around that Constitution and got it to where government can do anything they want to do as long as they're doing it to protect you, that's what government would love. That Constitution should be changed to where you have a Constitution, but government's allowed to do anything they want to do as long as it's to protect you or national security. Because that's what they do. It's just outrageous. I posted this on my comments on the YouTube channel. It talks about problem-based thinking, and it's really accurate. I can't remember where I got it from or saw it, but I read it somewhere and I copied it and had it copied. It says, if people have access to guns, small number of them will misuse those guns. That's a problem. And the solution, usually by government, take away guns from everyone. That's what government tells you every time. Every time there's a gun problem, we have to take guns or make more laws to make it harder for good people to own guns, even though the people that are committing these crimes aren't following the laws any damn way. But more laws will help you, and idiots believe it. Okay? If people have access to drugs, a small number of people will misuse those drugs. That's a problem. Government solution? Take away drugs from everybody. That's what government does. If people have freedom, a small number of people will then misuse that freedom. That's a problem. Solution, take away freedom from everybody. That's what government does. Puts it in a nutshell. I'm at 44 minutes. I went a little long. Hope y'all have a good day. This is really developing and it keeps going on and on and on. I'm glad that we're getting more information. The problem is the more information we get confirms what we knew at the very start. Government cannot protect you or your kids, and when you depend on government, 19 kids are dead And government has all kind of excuses on why it's not their fault. Problems, communication, too many agencies. If we had more agencies, if we had one person in charge of, they'll be the spin capital of the world to get around this kid shit. And they'll be throwing everything against the wall to see if it sticks. You know what'll stick? When parents go, enough is enough. But will they do that? Hell no. All right, we got to get along. Just keep paying your taxes and letting government do what they want to do. Things will get better. All right, we'll end that there.